Hi guys, it's Caramel Coco Brown coming to you with another edition of My Favorite Kitchen. Tonight guys, I'm going to make a simple no carbs dinner for my family. I'm going to sear up some center cut pork chops and I'm going to make a try greens dish, which will consist of collard greens, kale, and cabbage. So I have already seasoned up my pork chops with garlic powder, a little bit of pepper, sea salt, and some paprika. And I think I might have told you guys before that I put paprika on my meats, just to give it that coloring, okay? And so they're all ready to go to the frying pan. I have some olive oil heating up in my wonderful all-clad pan, and I'm going over there right now. All right, guys, so my pan is already hot. You hear that? Listen to that. Isn't that fabulous? This is my one of my all-clad frying pans. I absolutely love it. The reason I'm frying up these chops tonight is because they're too thin. I would normally bake them, but they're too thin to bake because they would dry up. So I'm just gonna fry them up really quickly. I don't have any flour on them. I just want the flavor of the pork chops and the seasonings to come through. We don't need any additional calories by breading them in flour or breadcrumbs. If I were going to make some gravy with the pork chops, which I am not doing, I would flour them. When I place my meat in my frying pan, I try to place them in such a way, especially my pork chops, where I don't lose any space. You see how golden brown that is? That's the paprika working. People make a lot of jokes about paprika, but you know what? I've always used paprika on my meats, my chickens, pork chops. The only meats I don't use paprika on is steak. Steaks and ground beef. Because first of all, steak, I don't put any seasoning on my steaks most of the time. I just put them in the oven, grill them or whatever, let the flavor of the beef come through. So look at that, isn't that beautiful though? All right guys, so my 8 pieces of pork chop, they're ready. I'm going to put them in the oven that's already warming so that they will stay warm. And if you notice, I have them on this pan that is like my broiling pan so that some of the excess juice, I'm sorry guys, some of the oil can also drip down in the pan. So I'm going to put this in the oven, let them warm, and now I'm going to prepare for my greens, okay? This is kale. Okay, you see how curly that is? And this is my little vegetable brush that I got from Williams-Sonoma. You want to make sure that your greens don't have any dirt, sand, and certainly not any bugs on them. Now, I've seen a lot of people, they've done what I would call de-spine. They've taken the stems, or destemmed, I would say, and if that's not a word, I just made it a word, out of the collard greens. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. If the stems are very thick, I will cut them out, but these are not. And I think it's more healthy for you to leave them in anyway. All right, so I'm gonna clean my Savoy cabbage. Write me and let me know whether or not you've eaten Savoy cabbage, whether you like it, and if you do, whether you like it better than regular cabbage. I haven't cooked red cabbage yet. I've eaten red cabbage in salads, but I've not cooked red cabbage. Look how beautiful the green is. All right, guys, what I'm going to show you now is how to cut a cabbage. This cabbage, if you notice, has very curly leaves. And I don't know why, but when I go to the store, invariably people have pulled off these wonderful green leaves like they didn't want to be bothered with them, but I love the greener the leaves, the better. So first of all, if you notice, I cut off the bottom. Then what you want to do is cut the cabbage in half. Sometimes I core the cabbage and sometimes I don't. This is a Savoy cabbage. Did I tell you that a few seconds ago? The leaves are curlier than your normal regular cabbage. I love the Savoy cabbage. The Savoy cabbage tends to be a little bit more expensive than your regular cabbage, but I love it. To me, it's like sweeter too. So I just cored this cabbage. I cut a triangular piece out. I read this book once called Fit for Life, I think it is. I forgot the authors. So husband and wife team, this is an old book. I read the book when I was in college. And that book said that your body is only equipped to digest one concentrated food at a time, that you should have live food and concentrated food. And the concentrated food, and I think, I hope I'm getting this right, is the food that you cook. And so you should always eat with, I guess, a meat and a vegetable, a meat and a vegetable. How many of us do that? We don't. And that's why we're so sluggish during Thanksgiving and Christmas, because we put so much of concentrated foods in our bodies that our bodies are trying to digest everything, and you just get tired. You know, you got the turkey and the gravy and the fried chicken and the sweet potato pie and the mashed potatoes, and then you have some greens and maybe a salad. You know, I've evolved since becoming an adult and cooking. You know, when I was growing up as a kid, I remember my mom and my grandmother just cooking the life out of vegetables. You know, but as I got older, I learned that they, you know, that wasn't really the right way to cook. And so I only cook my vegetables a very short time. When they turn that bright green, I turn them off. My mom and my aunts and grandmother would cook their vegetables in a lot of water. I don't do that, and I don't put any water in my vegetables at all. Olive oil, lots of garlic, and onions. All right, guys, so let me show you how I cut my cabbage when they're just separate leaves. I put a few together, and I roll them up, and I just cut my collards and my kale. I just put it all together. Roll it up. Take as much water off as possible because I don't want it to get waterlogged in my pot. I just cut. Look at that, guys. So good and healthy for you. The kale is good. All right, guys, so I'm putting some extra virgin olive oil in here in my stock pot. Got my Rosley garlic press. I'm going to press about 6 cloves of garlic in here. I tell you, this garlic press, you get this Rosley garlic press, you'll never want to get another one. I'm going to stir that up. Guys, I really wish you could smell this. I just sprinkled a little bit of hot peppers in there. Look how that cooked down. It was up here, and now look how that cooked down. And look, no water. Look at that. No water. How you like my sneakers? I went to Costco yesterday, and they had Pro Keds. You know I'm old school. Pro Keds. I was so happy. I only paid like $20 for these things. I'm like, I'm getting a pair of Pro Keds in red, and I want to go back and get them in navy blue too. Aren't they adorable? I just love them. And if you haven't found out by now, red is like my favorite color. This is my Ruby Woo by MAC. I wear it all the time. I love red. Red is a wonderful color, fun color. All right, guys, dinner is served. I have some center cut pork chops that I just fried up a little bit with my tried greens, collards, kale, and cabbage, cooked in wonderful Vidalia onions, garlic, and olive oil. Okay, and then I have another plate of just my greens for my daughter-in-law because she doesn't eat pork. Ow, too bad. All right, guys, it's Caramel Coco Brown coming to you again. See you soon. God bless. Eat well.